Anecdotes for success. Level up with truth, meaning, trade-offs, perspective.
All right, Matt, this is our first podcast where neither of us are home. We knew this was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So we're consistency's the rule. We're getting after it. I've got one of these episodes where I'm going to give you a word and you're going to go from there and we'll probably talk 25, 30 minutes about it. You ready?
Well, no, not yet. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in I'm in Jacksonville Beach,
Which
inside an old Castle Lake hotel.
nice. Which is kind of a place you guys have been going somewhat regularly now, right?
Yeah, we discovered it when our older daughter Jenna played Jacksonville in North Florida down here in softball. Now we find any excuse to come here. It's pretty warm for this time of year and it's not real busy and just a lot to do, a lot to explore, right? So where are you at?
And I'm in Hollywood, Florida, which is right in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. And I'm here for a Subway conference and a multi-unit owner conference. I'd never been to Hollywood, Florida before. I've been to Miami and Fort Lauderdale, but never here. And it's beautiful. It's the water and everything's right behind me, but it's so bright. It's so bright that I had to close the blinds there. It's like 85, and in fact, my wife's heading to the pool right now, but it's kind of an off day for us here for the conference. But home, back home, we're leave tomorrow. We're heading to Europe for a while, and my mother and my brother are going with us. And my brother just texted me about a half hour ago saying their flights just got canceled because of weather and all that. It's just crazy the difference here and there in terms of
Right.
weather, huh? You're going golfing.
Yeah, I got a tee time and like I said, the ocean's literally 50 yards from me right now. I was outside, but I couldn't even see the computer.
Right.
Another interesting fact, wasn't Hollywood your nickname in high school?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
No, this is great. So next week we'll be doing this. I'll be back in New York, but you'll be somewhere in Europe.
Yeah. I'm going to London and Belgium and Luxembourg. So
How much of a time difference?
5 to 6 hours, depending on where we are.
All right, so I'll have to get up at the crack of dawn for that one.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. But maybe I'll be in some cafe and something like that. Which is always so cool to do. And we're doing a lot of touring around, which we do every year, different parts of the world and mainly Europe. And I love World War II and World War I things, like history and I just love history, period. But so, and we're going to go see a Tottenham Hotspurs game on Sunday, which this will be the second one of those we've seen. So it's amazing. So, we'll have a good time.
Well, I'm glad you asked where we both were because I was just getting right into it, all business. But this actually segues real good. You ready for the word?
Yeah.
Opportunity. What's that mean to you?
Oh, it means a lot to me. It's like, opportunity is, first of all, it's everywhere. I mean, we were having a conversation offline before we hit record that was about opportunity, right? And
Yep.
and it leads me like that started by you keeping your eyes open, right? Not just looking at a business as a place for you to consume something. It's looking at a business or it's looking at your consumption as a way to create a business or build something. And you know like look, there's no question the more money you make or have, the more opportunity exists because you have the capital to jump on it. But it also provides more challenges in other ways. But there's this misconception that you need a bunch of money to have opportunity. And I've always hated the statement, it takes money to make money. And although there's some truth to that, it doesn't have to be your money that it takes. You know,
It's true.
you know, it's like, sure, fine, fair enough. But people use it as an excuse. Well, I was never blessed with money. No one ever gave it to me. I never inherited it. I never won the lottery. You know, whatever excuse they want to use. Therefore, I don't have money. Therefore, I can't take advantages of other opportunities. It's an excuse. It's a, you know, I can't do it. It's not my fault. It's the world's fault or whatever. And therefore, I'm off the hook. I don't have to be creative. I don't have to work harder. I don't have to look for the opportunities. I can just sit in my cocoon and go, it wasn't meant for me because, you know, the world has conspired against me. But for someone else, they were given all this, you know, these blessings and no wonder they're successful because they were given all this. Woe is me. And you know, I hear that all the time. Fact of the matter is, as soon as you train yourself to look for it and your mind works that way, it's just everywhere. I can't, you know, I see a parking garage and I don't see a place to park. I see, okay, it's open 24 hours a day. How many parking spots? How much do they get on average per spot? Times, you know, times 7 for a week, times 52 for a year. Holy cow, it's X amount in revenue. Now, what did it cost to build the parking garage and buy the land? And how much does it cost to, you know, how much labor is involved? Do they have kiosks? Boom, 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 boom. When you think like that, and that's just how I think now, and I didn't always think like that, you see opportunity everywhere.
It really is everywhere. I mean, and you said something that struck home where people say I don't have the money or I wasn't born with money or I can't do that. It can start by just working hard, understanding that every single person you meet could be a potential opportunity. Not someone you take advantage of, but someone like the person I met yesterday and talked to. Obviously, when we got talking, he realized I had value in something he could pursue, and he had value in something I might pursue. Right, just like the food truck we have, and just when I have relationships with clients, and when you open another store, like you get more opportunity when you meet more people if you have value to offer. And I think people forget that. Who knows what? Maybe the value is capital, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the value is boots on the ground. Maybe it's
Yeah.
hard work. Maybe it's the fact that you're good at selling or emailing people or marketing or whatever. So there's opportunity everywhere.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's just it. You don't have to be the person with capital. In fact, believe me, there's a lot of people with capital out there who want to use the capital, and they're dying for the person who's the boots on the ground, as you put it, and you know, operating the business, marketing the business, whatever the selling, whatever the case may be. Those people are dying to find, you know, like I can put my capital into the marketplace, sure, and therefore nobody has to work. I don't need any partners, whatever the case may be. But believe me, your return in the market is nothing compared to what you'll get, the return you'll get on a business that's operating. You know, I'm at this conference and I'm meeting people. You know, it's funny. I was saying one of the things I was on the Subway podcast, which we were talking about earlier yesterday. It hasn't come out yet, but they asked me to be on it, which was a blast. And one of the things I was telling during the podcast or mentioning was here, you know, some days in my world, I feel like I'm totally alone and nobody gets me. And, you know, at times you feel like you're just failing and you're doing, you know, it's just things aren't going the way you want them to. And then sometimes you feel like, holy cow, look at all these businesses I have, the growth I've had, how well we've done overall. And you feel like you're the king, you know, like I'm the king, you know, you're like, wow, we're doing great. We're so awesome. So I'm here and here. And the truth is, it's neither one. You're in the middle and you're meeting people who I met several people of 100, 200, you know, one group, a guy who was leading the group is by, you know, they're looking at, you know, hundreds of them and it not just in our world, but in other franchises and those kinds of things. And you're like, holy cow, you know, and then there's other people have a handful and they look at my situation, and they think we're just killing it. And like I said, the fact is I'm just somewhere in the middle, trying to work every day to build, you know, build a better life. But the opportunity by talking to these people, the way they view the world is not one of woe is me. It's not one of waiting. It's about going for it. It's about finding opportunities and going for it. And we had a guest speaker yesterday. You familiar with Stephen A. Smith from ESPN First Take?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was I'll send you a picture. Cassie and I got a picture with him.
Does he shout in real life too all the time?
Yes, he's
Okay.
exactly like that. He was exactly like that. That's what I've been
I was
telling people.
wondering. I'm like, no way.
I'm like, it's not an act. He's just as confident and opinionated. But he was talking about opportunity, coincidentally, and he was talking about being prepared. And he was saying, look, I might have my opinions and I might feel certain ways, but it's because I did my homework. And when you're talking about opportunity, same thing. Do your homework. You want to go for it. You want to get involved in something. Put in the time. Put in the work. Understand your numbers. He was saying how he's on some show an hour every day. Every single day he looks at that hour in 15-minute increments based on his ratings. Every day, no exceptions. And he said, I've been number one. My show has been number one for 11 straight years. And I have no intention of that changing. And he said, this is funny. He said, I'm so far ahead of everyone else. There is no number two. There is no second place. And he means it in his mind. There is no doubt he means it. And whether he's right or wrong is irrelevant. What matters is he believes it. He means it. And he's got the success to prove it. But Stephen A. Smith didn't come from anything. I can assure you of that. No one gave him anything. He just went out and outworked everyone and earned it.
Yeah, he strikes me as the type of person that doesn't care what anybody's saying about him in the process. And that's the only way you can grow. If you're always looking down or looking over your shoulder, reading something about you, because no matter how successful you are, you're going to have people saying you're nothing or you're terrible or I hate you. And I don't think he doesn't strike me as someone that cares about that at all.
No, I couldn't agree more. I don't think he gives two hoots about what anybody thinks. And that's a superpower, I've talked about it on this podcast before. Like, I've kind of had a blessing with that myself, where I think it came from my parents, always knowing my parents supported me. So I didn't care what anybody else thought. If I failed and fumbled and stumbled, which I did plenty, and I still do, it didn't even show up to me. You know what I mean? It didn't. Like, I hear all these people, well, what are other people going to think? That thought has really never crossed my mind. And maybe that says I have some sort of mental disorder, but I think it's a superpower.
Yeah, well, it really is. And I've learned, I tell my students and players I coach all the time now, when they get worried about stuff, people really don't think about you as much as you think they do. And that's the way I look at it, the perspective that way, instead of like, all right, even if someone does say something about you or tries to knock you down, they don't consume themselves of it. They just say it and move on. And then you read it and you want to think about it or rationalize why they said it. It's not that deep.
Exactly. It's not that deep. They don't look, we're busy. You're busy. I'm busy. People are busy. First of all, if you're spending a bunch of time worrying about other people, you're probably not in the space in life you could be, right? If that's where your energy's spent, I'll bet you, my hypothesis is you are not succeeding in most areas of your life because that's where your energy's spent. So right, why get caught in so people aren't doing that. Most people aren't. People probably should matter to you aren't thinking that way. And so don't get bogged down in it, and I just, again, coming back to this conference, because it's so inspiring to be around these people. It's just like, there's people doing things that just blow my mind, and they're all net. I mean, these are the people who you would look at and go, these are the ultra successful in many ways, and they're networking, they're spending time with their staff and growing. Know what they're talking about, Paul, all day long? growing their leaders, growing their team, supporting the people who support their business. It's so funny because, there's a perception that, these would be the people who are, they don't care about anyone else. They're self-absorbed. It's the exact opposite. All they do is talk about caring about the guest, caring about the employee, caring about the people within the business. That's all the discussion is. And this went from opportunity just to success in some way, but they're totally related. These people find opportunities and capitalize on opportunity, and it comes down to how they treat their customers and how they treat their employees and the people involved in their business.
Blows my mind. It blows my mind. It's hard for me to wrap my head around sometimes how big this country is, yet alone the world. Because I get bogged down in, well, what if, start something at home? I don't know if it can support it. What will people think? Or, what will my friend circle think? And the older I get, like I said, I don't worry about that anymore. And you come down here, nobody from back home would even know what I'm doing down in Jacksonville. I could start a whole new life down here.
Yeah.
And that's everywhere, right? There's
Yeah.
the guy I met yesterday is in every city, not just Jacksonville, and might even be in my own city. Well, there are people like that where we're from, but you get in a circle, a group of people, and sometimes I don't pursue meeting other people at home like I would a foreign place, if that makes sense. And like I always say, we get going down the highway of life so fast, thinking you're pursuing something, we forget to take the exit ramps. That's where the real opportunity is. But we're so focused on where we're going, we forget this way or that way could yield even greater returns, right? And I feel you do I feel you do a good job at both, because you're definitely going down that highway of life at a pretty fast pace for progress. But you seem to pull back and take the exit ramps and have that perspective sometimes. What do you think?
Yeah, I try. I think it's important, and I think one supports the other, and without that balance, you're going to miss opportunities, you're going to miss perspective. And that was a topic yesterday too, amongst one guy owns like 103 subways out in California, a second generation, I believe, and he talked extensively about the pullback, the like you're saying, and not missing out on those other opportunities that exist out there, whether they're personal or even even other types of businesses and that kind of thing. So I think you're right on that. I think it's important, and you're better off, and it to succeed, you don't have to live it 24/7. Unless you want to be ultra successful, and there are those people out there, and we look at like an Elon Musk or whatever. That guy talks. I mean, he's working 18 hours a day every day, and that's why a guy like that, I don't envy a guy like that. I mean, he could be the richest person in the world. I think that's fantastic for him, but I don't envy it, because I'm like, that's not a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Therefore, I don't get to have the upside of it either, like he gets. But
Right.
But for me, I need those other things in my life. Being here, being in Europe, having relationships with my family and people like yourself, and But I'm of the belief that if I have my other ducks in a row in the areas that provide me the resources that I want, then I can build better relationships and have better opportunities with that. I can't do it unless the businesses are healthy.
Yeah, two questions on that. So, do you think a guy like Elon Musk, and I'm speculating because I doubt I'm going to meet him anytime soon, although I do try to manifest it, so maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Do you think that's what he thought he would get to, or did he just pursue something at such a rapid rate? He's trapped and he couldn't come back to a normal life if he wanted to now, right?
Yeah, I think you probably could not. You're right.
But I wonder if he always knew he was going to be, well, I don't know how you ever know you're going to be like Elon Musk, but he must have had a passion that's second to none to get to where he is.
It seems like it, and you can't help but wonder the image you get of anyone that wealthy, how much the image is true and how much it is, public relations and some of those kinds of things. But he seems in the interviews, extensive interviews I've watched of him, and some of the things he seems like he's a guy who genuinely wants to help the world, and he's obviously a savant. I mean, he's not normal in terms of his intelligence, and can do things that you and I can't even comprehend, let alone achieve. But you know, and I think for that there's a kind of a responsibility with that kind of genius to do his. I think he feels a responsibility to do as much as he can, and whether you like him or hate him or whatever, he's polarizing, which is interesting. But I think he's trying to do a lot of good, but it comes at a great cost. A great cost.
Boy, he is polarizing. I can't even understand why another human being would spend so much time hating on someone else. But boy, it's well, it goes back to what we said. So, okay, the second thing I wanted to ask you, is there a downside to pursuing an opportunity?
Yeah,
Or,
yes.
look, go ahead.
No, I agree. In fact, I was just about to bring up it up. The word opportunity also comes with opportunity cost, right? So opportunity cost is a real thing. And it means if you're pursuing that opportunity, let's say you're investing your capital in the opportunity. Well, now you don't have that capital to put in something else, right? That money's invested, it's gone. So if something else is out there, you can't put it in the marketplace, you can't hide it under your pillow. So it can't disappear through the market or a bad investment. You can't loan it to a friend. You can't go on vacation with it. It is a trade-off, right? Opportunity cost is just another name for a trade-off. And then same thing if I'm just going for it and starting my own business and it's not costing me any money, well, it's going to cost me something. That's going to be time. So now I can't use that time to go golfing or to watch Netflix or to build a different business or whatever it is. So there are no free lunches. There are no free rides. That opportunity is going to cost you something else. No one in the history of the world has said, Paul, turns out you have a business, you don't have to invest any money, you don't have to do anything, and you have no risk. You're gonna only get the profits of it. It's unreasonable. It doesn't exist. So everything has a cost.
So how do you decide which ones to pursue and not to pursue? Like you must get people that present business ideas to you all the time.
Yeah, research and experience, and like some of the things, look, you can only do so much research. The number one reason people don't pursue things is because they want a guarantee and they want to research it to death. And one of the things that people will do is they want an answer, and there is no answer. You can get hints of an answer. You can get a lot of good information to make the best decision possible, but you'll never have the answer. Like you were saying before, I don't know if this would work, whatever this is, in this area. Nobody ever knows. That's the whole point. That if you knew, it wouldn't everyone would be doing it. It would be risk free, and it just doesn't work like that. But people, that's where they stop. Then they go, well, I don't know for sure. Eventually, you either got to go or not go. And if you're one of those people who just researches and stops and researches and stops, you're totally wasting your time. At some point, you got to jump, and when you jump, it's 2 feet. There's no, you can't really dip your toe in the water. And in some cases you can, but not most. So it's difficult to know, though. It's difficult to know at times.
Yeah, it's funny. Since I started the investment business and coach more and do some things on social media, I've had a handful of people give me ideas of what they think I should do next. Like why don't they go do it? They're telling me I should go do it and spend my time and capital and money. And it's probably supersized in your situation. You must get that. Hey, you know what you should do? Well, I don't want to right now, or the trade-off of what I'm pursuing now. It's just interesting. Then I have people say, well, why do you coach? Because you don't get really paid for the time you put into it. And you mentioned it earlier, like I'm not Elon Musk. I like my work-life balance of being able to pursue a lot of opportunity, but be able to help people right in an eyeball to eyeball life skills level. So
And,
I
and
I
how
think it's
valuable is that?
yeah, I think it's funny how many people are telling me what I should do next though. I was
Yeah.
thinking about that just now.
Well, no, you're right, and I mean we talk about a lot of things business related, but and we always talk about, well, there's other things that have value that you should and could pursue, and that's a perfect example. What you're doing with your coaching, you're not making any money of any significance. You could, I'm sure, I don't know what you're making. It's none of my business, but I'm sure you could take the same amount of time, put that time into something else, and make a lot more money. That's not why you're doing that. Everything
Right.
isn't about money. Everything isn't about it isn't about how much I can stack into my bank account. There are so many other important things, and the impact you have on these young people's lives is immeasurable, but also got to be tremendously measurable in terms of its gratification for you personally.
It's a lot of fun, and like I said, I'm at that age where a lot of people are winding down. I feel like I'm just starting. Like, why would you wind down? I don't understand. And
Neither.
that's why I like talking with you on all these episodes because you're the same way. This
Hey,
energizes me.
hey, did your daughter hit a home run the other day? Did I read that?
Uh, yeah, they won 2-0. She hit a 2-run homer, so
I
she was
saw.
pretty stoked about
Oh,
that.
and it was 2-0, even better. Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
and
I just caught a part of the article.
well, we joke a lot. She had a rough weekend. The team did great. She had a rough weekend before that, and
Okay.
then starting to make a ton of contact, people making plays on the ball, and
Yeah.
but like we say, the process, you don't get too high or too low. You just keep chugging away with what you need to do, and then boom, when you have a moment and an opportunity, and the rest is history. So yeah, that was nothing more fun than watching a child do something like that. And
Yeah, that's fantastic.
she's only got this season left. They call her grandma because she's the old one on the team. It's pretty sad, isn't it? And she's on to the next chapter. But so how long are you going to be in Europe for?
uh, we'll be back. We leave tomorrow, and we'll be back on the 4th.
Okay. So maybe next Monday, Tuesday, we can get something going with this.
Yeah, yeah. I think like I'll be in Belgium then, which would be cool. Like I mean, it doesn't matter where I am. It'll be cool. I'm not sure the itinerary off the top of my head, but yeah.
Well, you have to stop traveling. We have a couple good authors I'll forward you their books, and they want to schedule dates, but I don't trust you when you're out of town and out of the country. So we're gonna have to
Fair.
keep going, us two, until we get back. So yeah, I got a long list of guests, but I don't trust you right now. That's
Right.
about
Fair. That's just smart. That's fair.
it. All right, man. Well, hey, I'm super excited to see your Subway podcast come out.
Yeah, yeah. I'll let you know when it comes out. They said they'd let me know, so then I can let you know.
And you've got to send me the Stephen A. Smith photo.
Oh, I'll do that right when we're done here.
I'll feel him yelling at me probably. And safe travels to Europe, and that'll be a fun one. You have to have people dancing in the background or something. I don't know why I think that with Belgium, but
I'll try to figure out a good. I can assure you, it will not be 85 and sunny like it is here.
yeah, no, yeah, we won't have any trouble seeing you. Well, hey, we'll end it. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today.
Yeah, that was fun. Enjoy your day and the rest of your trip. You guys have a safe trip home.
All right, you too, Matt. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Bye.